The unseen world beyond the lens. In an age where technology has become an inseparable part of our lives, cameras have evolved from mere tools of documentation to windows into realms we scarcely understand. Every day, millions of people around the globe capture moments, some mundane, others extraordinary. But what happens when those moments reveal something far beyond the ordinary? What happens when the lens captures not just light and shadow but whispers of the supernatural, echoes of entities unseen, and fragments of a world that defies explanation? The fascination with the paranormal has long gripped humanity's collective imagination. From ghost stories told by flickering campfires to chilling accounts passed down through generations, the idea of life, or some form of existence, beyond death continues to captivate us. But in recent decades, this fascination has taken on a new dimension: evidence. With advancements in photography, videography, and audio recording, countless individuals claim to have captured undeniable proof of the paranormal. These are no longer tales whispered in the dark. They are images frozen in time, videos replayed over and over, each frame begging the question, what if it's real? This article delves deep into 10 of the most terrifying encounters with the paranormal ever caught on camera. Each story is more than just a grainy photograph or shaky video clip. It's a portal into fear itself, a glimpse at the fragile boundary between our world and whatever lies beyond. Whether you're a skeptic seeking answers or a believer hungry for validation, these encounters will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about reality. As we journey together through these haunting narratives, prepare yourself. Turn down the lights, silence your surroundings, and let the screen illuminate the darkness. Because sometimes, what lurks just outside the frame isn't meant to be seen, and yet, somehow, it always finds a way to make itself known. The ghostly bride of Rainham Hall. Nestled in the quaint countryside of Norfolk, England, Rainham Hall stands as a relic of centuries past, a grand estate steeped in history and whispered legends. For years, rumors swirled about its haunted halls, with tales of spectral figures roaming its corridors. But it wasn't until 1936 that one such figure stepped out of myth and into infamy, forever altering how we perceive the paranormal. It began innocuously enough. Two photographers, Captain Hubert C. Provand and Indashira, were commissioned to take interior shots of Rainham Hall for Country Life magazine. As they worked their way through the dimly lit rooms, the air grew heavy, almost oppressive. Then came the moment that would change everything. In the hallway leading to the main staircase, Provand set up his camera while Shira adjusted the lighting. When the flashbulb ignited, both men felt an inexplicable chill ripple through the space. They dismissed it as nothing more than drafty old architecture, until the film was developed. There she was, the brown lady of Rainham Hall. Her translucent form drifted down the staircase, her eyes hollow yet piercing, her expression sorrowful yet serene. Clad in a tattered brown dress reminiscent of another era, she seemed oblivious to the modern intruders capturing her image. It was as though time had folded in on itself, allowing her fleeting presence to intersect with theirs. The photograph quickly gained notoriety, becoming one of the most scrutinized pieces of alleged paranormal evidence in history. Skeptics argued it could be a double exposure or clever manipulation, but experts confirmed the authenticity of the negative. No signs of tampering were found, leaving even the most hardened cynics uneasy. But who, or what, is the brown lady? According to local lore, she is the spirit of Lady Dorothy Walpole, the sister of Robert Walpole, Britain's first Prime Minister. Rumors suggest she died under mysterious circumstances within the walls of Rainham Hall, her soul unable to find peace. Witnesses describe her as perpetually wandering, searching perhaps for something lost, or someone who wronged her. Decades later, visitors continue to report strange phenomena at Rainham Hall. Cold spots materialize without warning. Footsteps echo where no living person walks. And occasionally, a faint outline resembling the infamous brown lady appears before vanishing into thin air. Though many have tried to debunk her existence, the photograph remains an enigma, a testament to the enduring power of the unexplained. The Enfield poltergeist. If there's one case that encapsulates the chaos and terror of poltergeist activity, it's the infamous Enfield haunting. Set against the backdrop of a modest council house in North London during the late 1970s, this harrowing ordeal became one of the most well-documented paranormal investigations in history, The trouble began in August 1977 when Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children moved into 284 Green Street. Almost immediately, strange occurrences disrupted their daily lives. Furniture shifted positions overnight. Toys flew across the room unaided. And then came the voice, a guttural, menacing tone emanating from 11-year-old Janet Hodgson, whose lips remained eerily still as the words spilled forth. Paranormal investigators Maurice Gross and Guy Lyon Playfair soon arrived on the scene, armed with cameras, tape recorders, and an unshakable determination to uncover the truth. What they witnessed defied logic. Chairs levitated off the ground only to crash back down moments later. Invisible hands slapped and scratched family members. And in one particularly chilling incident, Janet's body was thrown violently across the room, captured on film by Playfair himself. The footage is unsettling to watch. Janet hovers midair, her face contorted in fear as unseen forces manipulate her limbs like a puppeteer pulling strings. The accompanying audio recordings are equally disturbing, filled with growls, laughter, and cryptic messages delivered in voices not belonging to any of the household members. One recording famously features a malevolent entity declaring, "This is my house." Despite numerous attempts to explain away the events as fraud or mass hysteria, the sheer volume of eyewitness testimony and physical evidence makes dismissal difficult. Even skeptics admit the phenomenon exhibited characteristics consistent with genuine poltergeist activity, a rare and poorly understood manifestation often linked to intense emotional stress. Today, the Enfield haunting serves as a stark reminder of the fine line between skepticism and belief. While some dismiss it as elaborate trickery, others point to the overwhelming documentation as proof of forces beyond human comprehension. Regardless of where you stand, the case leaves an indelible mark on anyone brave enough to delve into its depths. The black-eyed children of Cannock Chase. Few things evoke primal fear quite like the unknown, especially when it takes the form of something so seemingly innocent yet profoundly unsettling. Such is the case with the black-eyed children, a phenomenon shrouded in mystery and dread, with reports spanning decades and continents. Among the most chilling accounts comes from Cannock Chase, a sprawling woodland area in Staffordshire, England, notorious for its eerie atmosphere and supernatural sightings. The story begins with a lone hiker named Sarah, who ventured into the woods one crisp autumn evening in 2015. Armed with only a flashlight and her phone, she wandered deeper into the forest, drawn by an inexplicable curiosity. That's when she saw them, 2 figures standing motionless beneath the skeletal branches of an ancient oak tree. At first glance, they appeared to be ordinary children, clad in simple clothing and staring silently into the distance. But as Sarah approached, her blood ran cold. Their eyes, pitch-black voids devoid of any reflection, locked onto hers with an intensity that froze her in place. She described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though their gaze pierced straight through her soul. Before she could react, the children spoke in unison, their voices unnervingly calm yet commanding. "Let us in," they said, gesturing toward her car parked nearby. Terrified, Sarah backed away slowly, fumbling for her phone to record the encounter. What followed has since become one of the most analyzed pieces of paranormal footage online. The video shows the 2 figures standing unnaturally still, their movements jerky and mechanical. Their faces remain partially obscured, but the blackness of their eyes is unmistakable, contrasting sharply with their pale skin. As Sarah retreats, the children begin to advance, their pace deliberate and unwavering. The final frames capture her frantic sprint back to her vehicle, the sound of her panicked breathing drowned out only by the relentless rustling of leaves behind her. Since the release of the video, theories abound regarding the nature of these entities. Some believe they are malevolent spirits preying on human fear, while others argue they may represent interdimensional beings testing the boundaries of our reality. Whatever the truth, one thing remains clear: those who encounter black-eyed children rarely emerge unscathed. Reports from other witnesses describe similar experiences, individuals approached by these unsettling apparitions, often requesting entry into homes or vehicles. Refusal typically results in immediate withdrawal, but compliance, well, few have dared to find out. The implications are too horrifying to contemplate. Cannock Chase continues to attract thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts alike, each hoping to glimpse the elusive figures for themselves. Yet, amidst the thrill of discovery lies a sobering reminder: some doors, once opened, can never be closed. The Dybbuk box curse objects imbued with malevolent energy hold a special kind of horror, one rooted in the tangible, the touchable. Few artifacts embody this concept better than the infamous Dybbuk box, a wine cabinet said to house a vengeful spirit from Jewish folklore. Its tale begins in 2001 when antique collector Kevin Mannis purchased the box at an estate sale in Portland, Oregon. Little did he know, he had just acquired what many now consider the world's most haunted object. The box itself is unassuming, a simple wooden container adorned with Hebrew carvings and containing various items, including 2 small goblets, a lock of blonde hair, dried rosebuds, and pennies minted in the 1920s. However, its appearance belies the terror it allegedly unleashed upon its owners. Within days of bringing the box home, Mannis began experiencing vivid nightmares of a demonic woman cursing him and his family. His mother suffered a stroke shortly after touching the box, prompting him to sell it online. Thus began a chain of misfortune stretching across multiple owners. Jason Haxton, a museum curator, documented his own harrowing experiences with the box in his book The Dybbuk Box. He claims to have been plagued by severe illness, financial ruin, and psychological torment, all of which ceased only after sealing the box inside a vault lined with iron and consecrated earth. Videos posted by subsequent owners show bizarre phenomena: objects moving independently, electronic devices malfunctioning, and shadowy figures appearing in photographs taken near the box. One particularly chilling incident involved a woman named Debbie Galuzzo, who claimed the box caused her entire family to fall ill simultaneously. In desperation, she recorded a series of rituals intended to banish the spirit, capturing eerie audio clips of disembodied whispers and guttural growls. Despite her efforts, the disturbances persisted until she ultimately relinquished possession of the cursed artifact. Today, the Dybbuk box resides in the care of Zach Bagans, host of Ghost Adventures, who keeps it locked away in his haunted museum in Las Vegas. Visitors report feeling an oppressive weight as they approach the exhibit, accompanied by sudden drops in temperature and overwhelming feelings of dread. While skeptics dismiss the curse as superstition, the mounting evidence suggests otherwise. After all, why would so many unrelated individuals suffer identical fates unless something truly sinister resides within? The Bell Witch. Haunting deep in the heart of Robertson County, Tennessee, lies the site of one of America's oldest and most infamous hauntings, the Bell Witch. Unlike many modern-day paranormal cases, this legend dates back nearly 2 centuries, originating in the early 1800s on the farmstead of John Bell Sr. What started as harmless pranks escalated into a reign of terror that would haunt the Bell family for years. The initial manifestations were subtle, knocking sounds echoing through the farmhouse late at night, furniture shifting slightly out of place. But as time wore on, the disturbances grew increasingly violent. Invisible hands slapped and choked family members, particularly targeting John Bell and his daughter Betsy. Whispers filled the air, taunting them with accusations of wrongdoing and promises of retribution. Neighbors reported hearing unearthly screams emanating from the property, drawing crowds eager to witness the supernatural spectacle firsthand. Among the most compelling pieces of evidence is a series of diary entries penned by Richard Williams Bell, John's son. In painstaking detail, he chronicled the escalating attacks, noting specific incidents involving levitating objects and phantom voices addressing the family by name. Though written nearly 200 years ago, the descriptions remain strikingly vivid, painting a picture of pure pandemonium. Photographic and audio documentation may be absent from this era, but oral tradition ensured the story endured. Generations of locals passed down accounts of the Bell Witch, embellishing details with each retelling. Yet, at its core, the narrative remains consistent. A malicious entity bent on destroying the Bell family sought revenge for reasons unknown. To this day, visitors flock to the former Bell property, hoping to catch a glimpse, or a sound, of the elusive witch. EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. Recordings captured in recent years purport to contain distorted voices speaking in archaic dialects, further fueling speculation about the entity's origins. Whether viewed as historical fact or folkloric fiction, the Bell Witch haunting endures as a chilling reminder of humanity's vulnerability to forces beyond our control. The Amityville Horror. Perhaps no other paranormal case has captured the public's imagination quite like the Amityville Horror. Immortalized in books, films, and countless documentaries, the story revolves around a modest Dutch colonial-style home located at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York. To some, it represents the quintessential haunted house. To others, it's a cautionary tale of greed and deception. Regardless of perspective, the events surrounding the Lutz family's brief residency remain undeniably disturbing. In December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz moved into the house with their 3 children, unaware of its grisly history. Just 13 months prior, Ronald DeFeo Jr. had murdered 6 members of his family within its walls using a .35 caliber rifle. The killings sent shockwaves through the community, leaving the property vacant until the Lutzes took ownership. Almost immediately, strange occurrences began unfolding. Cold spots permeated certain areas of the house, despite functioning heating systems. Mysterious red eyes glowed in the darkness outside bedroom windows. Swarms of flies infiltrated the kitchen, defying seasonal patterns. Most alarming, however, were the nightly episodes of George waking up covered in sweat, compelled by an unseen force to enter the basement where he claimed to hear demonic voices urging him to commit unspeakable acts. The Lutzes fled the house after just 28 days, seeking refuge elsewhere. Their ordeal inspired Jay Anson's best-selling novel The Amityville Horror, which in turn spawned multiple adaptations. Critics have long debated the veracity of the claims, pointing to inconsistencies in the timeline and potential financial motivations driving the narrative. Nevertheless, the sheer volume of alleged paranormal activity, from levitating beds to foul odors emanating from nowhere, has kept the debate alive for decades. Modern investigations utilizing advanced technology have yielded mixed results. Thermal imaging cameras occasionally detect anomalous heat signatures, while EVP sessions capture garbled whispers and guttural growls. Yet, definitive proof remains elusive, leaving the Amityville Horror suspended in a liminal space between fact and fabrication. For those willing to entertain the possibility of truth, the case serves as a sobering reminder of the fragility of sanity and the ease with which fear can consume us whole. The Myrtles Plantation staircase spirit perched along the banks of Louisiana's winding bayous. The Myrtles Plantation stands as a monument to Southern Gothic architecture, and perhaps the most haunted plantation in America. Built in 1796, its storied past includes tales of murder, betrayal, and restless spirits trapped within its creaking floors and shadowy corners. Among the myriad ghosts rumored to inhabit the property, none is more iconic than Chloe, the spectral figure immortalized in one of the most widely circulated paranormal photographs in history. Legend holds that Chloe was a slave working at the plantation during the antebellum period. Accused of eavesdropping on private conversations, she was punished severely, losing an ear in the process. Consumed by bitterness, she allegedly poisoned a cake intended for the master of the house, killing 2 of his children instead. In retaliation, she was hanged from a tree on the grounds, her body left to rot as a warning to others. Fast forward to 1992, when a tourist named Francis Kermeen snapped a casual photo of the plantation's elegant staircase. Upon developing the film, she noticed a translucent figure standing near the railing, a woman dressed in period-appropriate attire, her face partially obscured by flowing locks of hair. Experts examined the photograph extensively, ruling out possibilities such as reflections or double exposures. The consensus? Something, or someone, had indeed been present when the shutter clicked. Dubbed Chloe, due to her resemblance to descriptions of the vengeful slave, the apparition became synonymous with the Myrtles Plantation. Countless visitors have since reported encountering her ghost, describing a melancholic presence lingering near the staircase or peering through second-story windows. Others recount hearing faint sobbing or the rustle of silk skirts drifting through empty hallways. Skeptics argue that the photograph could be a hoax, crafted to capitalize on the plantation's burgeoning reputation as a hotspot for paranormal tourism. Yet, the sheer number of corroborating accounts lends credence to the notion that something otherworldly resides within those ancient walls. Whether Chloe seeks redemption, vengeance, or simply acknowledgement remains unknown, but her ethereal visage continues to haunt imaginations worldwide. The Skinwalker Ranch UFO sightings. Nestled in the remote Uinta Basin of northeastern Utah lies Skinwalker Ranch, a sprawling expanse of desert land steeped in Native American lore and modern-day mystery. Purchased in 1994 by aerospace executive Robert Bigelow, the property quickly gained notoriety as a hotspot for inexplicable phenomena ranging from cattle mutilations to UFO sightings. Over the years, researchers and investigators have documented countless bizarre occurrences, many of which defy conventional explanation. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence emerged in 2016 when security cameras installed around the ranch captured footage of a massive orb hovering silently above the horizon. The object, glowing with an otherworldly blue light, performed erratic maneuvers impossible for any known aircraft. Witnesses described it as pulsating rhythmically, as though alive, before disappearing abruptly into thin air. Additional recordings reveal equally perplexing activity. Livestock behave erratically, fleeing invisible threats or collapsing suddenly without apparent cause. Strange symbols appear etched into the ground overnight, bearing uncanny resemblance to petroglyphs found throughout the region. And then there are the creatures, shadowy figures glimpsed darting between trees, their forms indistinct yet undeniably humanoid. Native American tribes refer to the area as a pathway to the gods, believing it to be a convergence point for interdimensional travel. Modern interpretations lean toward extraterrestrial visitation, citing the frequency and consistency of UFO sightings reported by credible sources. Whatever the truth, the ranch exudes an aura of profound strangeness that cannot be ignored. Today, Skinwalker Ranch operates as a research facility under the auspices of the U.S. government, exploring connections between UFOs, cryptids, and psychic phenomena. While definitive answers remain elusive, the mounting evidence suggests that we may be dealing with forces far beyond our current understanding of science and reality. The Isla de las Muñecas Doll Island, floating in the murky waters of Xochimilco, Mexico, lies Isla de las Muñecas, a tiny island adorned with hundreds of decaying dolls, their glassy eyes staring blankly into eternity. This macabre tableau owes its existence to Julian Santana Barrera, a reclusive caretaker who claimed the dolls warded off evil spirits haunting the island. Yet, visitors tell a different story, one of malevolence and madness. According to legend, Barrera discovered the body of a young girl floating in the canal adjacent to the island. Distraught, he hung a single doll from a tree in her memory. Soon afterward, he began finding additional dolls washed ashore, each bearing signs of unnatural wear and tear. Convinced they contained protective powers, he strung them up throughout the island, creating a grotesque shrine that attracted attention from curious travelers. Video footage shot by tourists reveals unsettling anomalies. Doll heads rotate independently, torsos sway gently despite lack of wind, and disembodied voices whisper warnings to those daring enough to linger too long. Many report feeling an overwhelming sense of unease, as though being watched by countless unseen eyes. Tragically, Barrera himself drowned in the same canal where he found the girl's body, adding another layer of tragedy to the island's dark legacy. Though officially designated as a cultural heritage site, Isla de las Muñecas remains largely untouched, its secrets guarded by the silent sentinels hanging from twisted branches. For those brave enough to venture close, the experience serves as a stark reminder of humanity's futile attempts to impose order upon chaos. The entity of Pontianak Cemetery, located in Indonesia's West Kalimantan province, Pontianak Cemetery harbors a sinister reputation tied to local myths of vampiric spirits known as Pontianaks. These female phantoms, said to arise from women who died during childbirth, prey on unsuspecting victims, draining their life force with razor-sharp claws and hypnotic gazes. In 2018, paranormal investigator Adrian Yap ventured into the cemetery armed with night vision cameras and EMF detectors. What he captured remains among the most disturbing paranormal footage ever recorded. A figure cloaked in white drifts silently between gravestones, her elongated nails glinting faintly in the moonlight. Closer inspection reveals a mouthful of needle-like teeth, poised to strike. Audio recordings accompanying the video pick up faint cries mingled with guttural snarls, suggesting the presence of multiple entities. Witnesses described feeling paralyzed with fear, unable to move as the Pontianak draws nearer. Local lore advises carrying sharp objects or garlic to ward off attacks, though effectiveness varies depending on individual accounts. Pontianak Cemetery continues to draw adventurers and skeptics alike, each hoping to either confirm or disprove the existence of these deadly spirits. Regardless of outcome, the pervasive sense of dread lingers long after departure, embedding itself deeply within the psyche of anyone foolish enough to challenge the boundaries of mortality. As we reach the end of this journey through 10 of the most terrifying paranormal encounters ever caught on camera, one truth becomes abundantly clear: the line between the seen and the unseen is thinner than we dare to imagine. Each story, whether rooted in centuries-old folklore or captured in the digital age, reminds us that there are mysteries in this world, and perhaps beyond, that elude our grasp. The grainy photographs, the shaky videos, the chilling audio clips, they serve not only as evidence but also as invitations. Invitations to look closer, listen harder, and feel deeper. These accounts are more than mere spectacles of fear. They are testaments to the resilience of the human spirit. They remind us that curiosity, even in the face of the unknown, is what drives us forward. Whether you walked into this exploration as a skeptic or a believer, I hope you leave with a renewed sense of wonder. Because the beauty of the paranormal lies not in having all the answers, but in embracing the questions that keep us awake at night. So, as you turn off your screen and step back into the comfort of the familiar, remember this: the shadows still stretch long, the whispers still linger, and the camera lens, though powerful, is only a tool. The real story unfolds in the spaces between, waiting for those brave enough to seek it out. Until next time, stay curious, and stay vigilant.